The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Marcus Aurelius. Most people think strength is about muscles. They chase bigger arms, broader chests, believing that physical power equals dominance. They're wrong. Muscles are tools, but the mind is the operator. A strong body with a weak mind is just a more elaborate cage. We're not interested in cages, no matter how impressive they look. We're interested in the key. We're interested in the will to use it. Forget the protein shakes and endless reps if your foundation is cracked. The core of true strength isn't visible. It's forged in the unseen battles, the internal wars fought in the silence of your own mind. It's the discipline to choose pain over comfort, the clarity to see through deception, and the unwavering resolve to stand your ground when everything screams at you to run. This isn't about flexing for a mirror. It's about building an unshakable fortress within yourself. It's about preparing for the storms that will inevitably come and knowing that you, and you alone, will weather them. It's about becoming the kind of person who can face any challenge, any adversity, with unwavering conviction and unyielding strength. The world is full of people who look strong but crumble under pressure. We're building something different. We're building a core that can withstand anything. The mind is the battlefield. Every single day you are at war. Not with the world, not with others, but with yourself. Your doubts, your fears, your weaknesses, these are the enemies you must constantly confront and conquer. Most people are blissfully unaware of this ongoing conflict. They drift through life, reacting to circumstances, letting their emotions dictate their actions. They are prisoners of their own minds, trapped in a cycle of negativity and self-sabotage. But you don't have to be one of them. You can choose to take control, to become the master of your own destiny. This requires a conscious effort, a deliberate decision to cultivate mental toughness. It's not about suppressing your emotions. It's about understanding them, managing them, and using them to your advantage. It's about recognizing your weaknesses and turning them into strengths. It's about building a core of resilience that can withstand any challenge. The first step is awareness. You must become acutely aware of your thoughts, your feelings, and your behaviors. Pay attention to the internal dialogue that runs constantly in your mind. Is it positive and encouraging, or negative and self-critical? Do you tend to focus on your successes or your failures? Are you quick to blame others for your problems, or do you take responsibility for your own actions? Once you become aware of these patterns, you can begin to change them. You can challenge your negative thoughts, reframe your failures as learning opportunities, and take ownership of your life. This is not a quick fix. It's a lifelong process of self-improvement, but the rewards are immeasurable. As you cultivate mental toughness, you will become more confident, more resilient, and more successful in all areas of your life. You will no longer be a victim of circumstance, but a master of your own fate. You will be able to face any challenge with courage and determination. You will be able to achieve your goals, no matter how difficult they may seem. You will become the person you were always meant to be. To build a fortress of the mind, you need unwavering honesty. You have to dismantle the lies you tell yourself, the comforting narratives that prevent you from facing reality. This is painful. It requires staring into the abyss of your own flaws and accepting them without flinching. Most people avoid this confrontation. They prefer to live in a world of illusion, where they are always right and everyone else is to blame. But this is a path to weakness, not strength. True strength comes from accepting the truth, no matter how uncomfortable it may be. It comes from recognizing your limitations and working to overcome them. It comes from taking responsibility for your mistakes and learning from them. This is the foundation of mental resilience. It allows you to adapt to change, to bounce back from setbacks, and to keep moving forward even when the odds are stacked against you. It's not about being perfect. It's about being honest with yourself and striving to improve every day. This honesty extends to your perception of the world. The world is not always fair. It is not always kind. It is often cruel and unforgiving. But you cannot let this bitterness poison your mind. You must see the world as it is, not as you wish it to be. This requires a clear and objective perspective, free from emotional bias. It means recognizing the dangers that exist and preparing to face them. It means accepting that failure is a possibility and having a plan for how to deal with it. This is not pessimism, it's realism. It allows you to make informed decisions, to anticipate challenges, and to avoid unnecessary risks. It gives you a strategic advantage in the game of life. Psychological warfare is not just something that happens on the battlefield. It's a constant presence in our daily lives. Whether we realize it or not, we are constantly being bombarded with messages designed to influence our thoughts and behaviors. Advertisements, propaganda, social media, these are all tools of psychological warfare. To protect your mind, you must learn to recognize these tactics and defend yourself against them. This requires critical thinking skills, a healthy dose of skepticism, and a strong sense of self-awareness. You must be able to question assumptions, evaluate evidence, and form your own opinions. You must be able to resist the pressure to conform and stand up for what you believe in. This is not easy. It requires constant vigilance and a willingness to challenge the status quo, but it is essential for maintaining your mental freedom. Your mind is your sanctuary. Protect it fiercely. Don't let anyone else control your thoughts, your feelings, or your beliefs. Be the master of your own mind, and you will be the master of your own destiny. The strategic mindset is not just about planning and executing. It's about cultivating a way of thinking that allows you to see the bigger picture, to anticipate future events, and to make optimal decisions under pressure. It's about understanding the underlying dynamics of any situation and using that knowledge to your advantage. This requires a combination of intelligence, experience, and intuition. You must be able to analyze data, identify patterns, and predict outcomes. You must also be able to adapt to changing circumstances and make adjustments to your plans as needed. The strategic mindset is not something that you are born with. It's a skill that can be developed through practice and experience. The key is to constantly challenge yourself, to think critically, and to seek out new perspectives. Read books, attend seminars, and engage in conversations with people who have different viewpoints. The more you expose yourself to new ideas, the more you will expand your understanding of the world. This broader understanding will give you a strategic advantage in all areas of your life. It will allow you to make better decisions, to solve complex problems, and to achieve your goals more effectively. It's not enough to simply be smart. You must also be strategic. You must be able to think ahead, to anticipate challenges, and to plan your moves accordingly. This is the key to success in any field, from business to sports to personal relationships. Developing a strategic mindset is not just about achieving external goals. It's also about cultivating inner peace and fulfillment. When you have a clear sense of purpose and a well-defined plan for achieving it, you will feel more confident, more motivated, and more in control of your life. This sense of control will reduce stress, improve your mental health, and allow you to live a more fulfilling life. The ultimate goal is not just to be successful, but to be happy. And happiness comes from living a life that is aligned with your values and your goals. The brutal truth is, nobody is coming to save you. There is no cavalry riding over the hill. There is no magic pill that will instantly transform your life. The only person who can make a difference is you. This is a harsh reality, but it's also empowering. It means that you are in control of your own destiny. You have the power to change your life, to achieve your goals, and to become the person you were always meant to be. But it requires taking responsibility for your own actions and making a conscious effort to improve yourself every day. It requires cultivating mental toughness, developing a strategic mindset, and embracing the brutal honesty that is necessary for self-improvement. This is not an easy path, but it's the only path to true strength and fulfillment. The choice is yours. Will you continue to drift through life, letting circumstances dictate your fate? Or will you take control, build an unshakable core, and become the master of your own destiny? Consider the story of a young entrepreneur named Alex. Fresh out of college with a revolutionary app idea, Alex secured seed funding, assembled a small team, and poured every waking hour into development. The launch was met with initial fanfare, downloads surged, and early user reviews were promising. Alex felt on top of the world, vindicated for the sacrifices made and the doubts endured. But the euphoria was short-lived. A competitor backed by a Silicon Valley giant released a similar app with more features and a massive marketing budget. Alex's downloads plummeted, users migrated to the competitor's platform, and the initial buzz faded into silence. Investors grew anxious, demanding immediate results. The team, once brimming with enthusiasm, became demoralized and started losing faith. Alex, overwhelmed by the pressure, began making desperate decisions. Marketing campaigns were launched without a clear strategy. New features were hastily implemented based on competitor analysis rather than user needs, and communication within the team broke down. Sleep became a luxury, anxiety a constant companion, and the weight of failure felt crushing. This is not an isolated case. Countless startups, innovative ideas, and ambitious individuals have met a similar fate. The graveyard of failed ventures is littered with the wreckage of shattered dreams and broken spirits. The question is not whether you will face such challenges, but how you will respond when they inevitably arise. The world is a battlefield, and your mind is the most crucial weapon. Without a fortified core, you will crumble under pressure, succumb to doubt, and lose sight of your goals. Alex's mistake was not the competitor's superior resources or the market's fickle nature. The fundamental flaw was a lack of inner resilience, a fragile mental framework that couldn't withstand the storm. Alex had the talent, the idea, and the initial momentum, but lacked the mental fortitude to navigate adversity. Instead of maintaining focus, adapting strategically, and doubling down on core principles, Alex panicked, chasing fleeting trends and reacting impulsively. The result was a downward spiral that ultimately led to failure. This scenario underscores a critical truth. External success is fleeting and unreliable. Market conditions change, competitors emerge, and unforeseen obstacles will always arise. The only constant is your inner strength, your ability to remain centered, focused, and resilient in the face of chaos. Fortifying your core is not about avoiding setbacks. It's about developing the capacity to learn from them, to adapt, and to emerge stronger. It's about cultivating a mindset that embraces challenges as opportunities for growth, that views failure as a stepping stone to success, and that remains unwavering in its commitment to long-term goals. This requires brutal self-assessment, confronting your weaknesses, and actively cultivating mental toughness. It means developing strategies for managing stress, overcoming fear, and maintaining focus in the face of distractions. It means building a support system of mentors, advisors, and peers who can provide guidance, encouragement, and accountability. And it means relentlessly pursuing self-improvement, constantly honing your skills, expanding your knowledge, and refining your mental framework. Because when the storm comes, and it inevitably will, your core will be the only thing that stands between you and oblivion. It's the bedrock upon which you build your success, your resilience, and your ultimate fulfillment. It is the difference between becoming a casualty of circumstance and becoming a master of your own destiny. The trap lies in believing that external achievements validate your worth. It's the seductive illusion that accumulating wealth, gaining recognition, or achieving social status will somehow fill the void within. This is a dangerous fallacy. Chasing external validation is like trying to fill a bottomless pit. You might experience temporary satisfaction, but it's always fleeting, always dependent on external factors outside of your control. And the moment those external factors disappear, so too does your sense of self-worth, leaving you feeling empty, lost, and vulnerable. This is why so many outwardly successful individuals are secretly plagued by insecurity, anxiety, and a profound sense of meaninglessness. They have built their identities on shaky foundations, on the approval of others, on the shifting sands of circumstance. They haven't cultivated an inner core of strength, a sense of self that is independent of external validation. Instead, they become slaves to the opinions of others, constantly seeking affirmation, always afraid of disapproval. This creates a perpetual state of anxiety, a constant fear of failure because their self-worth is always on the line, always at risk of being taken away. The truth is, true strength comes from within. It comes from cultivating a deep sense of self-worth that is independent of external achievements. It comes from knowing your values, living in accordance with your principles, and pursuing your goals with unwavering commitment, regardless of what others may think. It's about finding meaning in the process of growth, in the constant pursuit of self-improvement, rather than in the fleeting satisfaction of external rewards. This is not to say that external achievements are unimportant. They can be valuable indicators of progress, sources of motivation, and opportunities to contribute to the world. But they should never be the sole basis of your self-worth. They should be seen as byproducts of your inner strength, as the natural consequences of living a life of purpose and integrity. When you prioritize inner development over external validation, you become immune to the trap. You no longer need the approval of others to feel good about yourself. You are no longer afraid of failure, because you know that setbacks are simply opportunities for growth. You become resilient, adaptable, and unwavering in your commitment to your goals, because your motivation comes from within, from a deep sense of purpose that cannot be extinguished by external circumstances. So, instead of chasing fleeting external rewards, focus on building your inner core. Cultivate self-awareness, challenge your limiting beliefs, and develop the mental toughness to overcome obstacles. Find meaning in the process of growth, and let your external achievements be a reflection of your inner strength. This trap is further baited by the insidious comfort of conformity. Society subtly, and sometimes not so subtly, pressures you to fit in, to follow the established norms, to pursue the paths that have already been paved. Deviating from this script often invites criticism, judgment, and even ostracism. The weak succumb to this pressure, sacrificing their individuality, their dreams, and their potential for the sake of acceptance. They choose the familiar, the safe, the predictable, even if it means living a life that is ultimately unfulfilling. This conformity manifests in various ways. It could be choosing a career path based on societal expectations or parental pressure, rather than on genuine passion and interest. It could be adopting a certain lifestyle, a set of values, or even a way of thinking simply to fit in with a particular social group. It could be suppressing your own unique talents and abilities in order to avoid standing out from the crowd. The problem with conformity is that it stifles creativity, innovation, and personal growth. It prevents you from discovering your true potential, from living a life that is truly authentic and meaningful. When you conform, you are essentially giving up control of your own destiny. You are allowing external forces to dictate your choices, to shape your identity, and to determine your future. The truly strong, however, resist this pressure. They understand that true fulfillment comes from living a life that is aligned with their own values, their own passions, and their own unique vision. They are not afraid to be different, to challenge the status quo, to pursue their own path, even if it means facing criticism and opposition. This requires courage, resilience, and a deep sense of self-belief. It means being willing to stand alone, to defend your convictions, and to persevere in the face of adversity. But the rewards are immeasurable. When you break free from the shackles of conformity, you unlock your true potential, you discover your unique talents, and you create a life that is truly your own. You become a leader, an innovator, and a force for positive change in the world. So, resist the urge to conform. Embrace your individuality, pursue your passions, and create a life that is authentic, meaningful, and truly your own. Another insidious trap is the reliance on external validation as a source of motivation. This is the tendency to base your drive and determination on the approval, recognition, or praise of others. While positive feedback can certainly be encouraging, becoming dependent on it creates a fragile and ultimately unsustainable foundation for achievement. When your motivation stems from external sources, you become vulnerable to the whims of others. Your efforts become contingent on receiving the desired accolades, and when those accolades are not forthcoming, your motivation wanes and your progress stalls. This creates a vicious cycle of dependence, where you constantly seek external validation to fuel your efforts. But the more you rely on it, the weaker your internal drive becomes. True and lasting motivation, on the other hand, originates from within. It is fueled by a deep sense of purpose, a clear understanding of your goals, and an unwavering belief in your ability to achieve them. This intrinsic motivation is not dependent on external factors. It is a self-sustaining force that propels you forward, even in the face of challenges, setbacks, and lack of external recognition. Cultivating intrinsic motivation requires a shift in mindset. Instead of focusing on what others think, focus on what truly matters to you. Identify your values, define your goals, and connect your actions to a larger purpose. Find joy in the process of learning, growing, and overcoming obstacles. Celebrate your progress, not just your achievements. When you are intrinsically motivated, you become resilient, persistent, and unwavering in your commitment to your goals. You no longer need the approval of others to stay on track. Your drive comes from within, from a deep sense of purpose that cannot be extinguished by external circumstances. So, break free from the trap of external validation. Find your inner drive, define your purpose, and pursue your goals with unwavering commitment, regardless of what others may think. Let your motivation come from within, from a deep sense of purpose that cannot be extinguished by external circumstances. The final, and perhaps most subtle trap, is the pursuit of perfection. This is the unrealistic and ultimately self-defeating belief that you must be flawless in order to succeed or to be worthy of love and acceptance. The pursuit of perfection can manifest in various ways, from setting impossibly high standards for yourself, to obsessing over minor details, to procrastinating on tasks out of fear of making mistakes. The problem with perfectionism is that it creates a constant state of anxiety and self-criticism. You are never good enough, never satisfied with your accomplishments, always striving for an unattainable ideal. This can lead to burnout, depression, and a crippling fear of failure. The truly strong understand that perfection is an illusion. They embrace imperfection, accept their flaws, and view mistakes as opportunities for learning and growth. They understand that success is not about being perfect. It's about being willing to try, to learn, to adapt, and to persevere in the face of setbacks. This requires self-compassion, the ability to treat yourself with kindness and understanding, especially when you make mistakes. It means forgiving yourself for your imperfections, celebrating your progress, and focusing on your strengths rather than dwelling on your weaknesses. It also means being willing to take risks, to step outside of your comfort zone and to embrace challenges, even if it means making mistakes along the way. When you embrace imperfection, you free yourself from the crippling fear of failure. You become more resilient, more adaptable, and more willing to take risks. You learn from your mistakes, you grow from your experiences, and you ultimately achieve more than you ever thought possible. So, let go of the pursuit of perfection. Embrace imperfection, accept your flaws, and view mistakes as opportunities for learning and growth. Focus on progress, not perfection, and celebrate your achievements, no matter how small. The strategy for fortifying your core begins with understanding that your mind is a battlefield. Every thought, every emotion, every belief is a soldier vying for control. You are the general, and your core values, your principles, your sense of self are your strategic assets. To protect these assets, you must be ruthless in identifying and eliminating threats. These threats come in many forms: negative self-talk, limiting beliefs, toxic relationships, distractions, and temptations. They erode your mental defenses, weaken your resolve, and leave you vulnerable to manipulation. The first step is awareness. You must become acutely aware of the thoughts and emotions that are undermining your strength. Pay attention to your inner dialogue. What are you telling yourself? Are you being kind and supportive, or are you being critical and self-sabotaging? Identify the patterns of negative thinking that are holding you back. These patterns are often deeply ingrained, but with conscious effort, you can break them. Once you have identified these threats, you must take decisive action to eliminate them. This may involve setting boundaries with toxic people, changing your habits, or challenging your beliefs. It may require you to confront uncomfortable truths about yourself and your life. This process is not easy, but it is essential for fortifying your core. Imagine your mind as a fortress. The walls are your beliefs, the gates are your boundaries, and the soldiers are your thoughts and emotions. If the walls are weak, the gates are unguarded, and the soldiers are undisciplined, the fortress will fall. But if the walls are strong, the gates are well defended, and the soldiers are well trained, the fortress will withstand any assault. To build a strong fortress, you must invest in your mental defenses. This means cultivating positive beliefs, setting clear boundaries, and training your thoughts and emotions. It means developing self-discipline, resilience, and emotional intelligence. This is a lifelong process, but it is an investment that will pay dividends in all areas of your life. Consider the concept of psychological warfare. It's not just for spies and soldiers, it's a daily reality. People will try to manipulate you, to control you, to exploit your weaknesses. They will use your fears, your insecurities, and your desires against you. To defend yourself against these attacks, you must understand the tactics of psychological warfare. This means learning how to recognize manipulation, how to resist influence, and how to protect your mental boundaries. It means developing a strong sense of self-worth and a clear understanding of your values. It means being assertive and confident in your beliefs. One of the most effective tactics of psychological warfare is to sow doubt and confusion. People will try to undermine your confidence, to question your decisions, and to make you feel insecure. They will use misinformation, propaganda, and emotional appeals to manipulate your thinking. To resist these tactics, you must cultivate critical thinking skills. This means learning how to evaluate evidence, how to identify biases, and how to make sound judgments. It means being skeptical of claims that are not supported by evidence. It means being willing to challenge your own assumptions and beliefs. Another common tactic is to use fear and intimidation. People will try to scare you into submission, to threaten you with consequences if you don't comply. To resist these tactics, you must cultivate courage and resilience. This means facing your fears, standing up for your beliefs, and refusing to be intimidated. It means developing a strong sense of self-efficacy, the belief that you have the power to control your own destiny. Furthermore, remember that fortifying your core also means cultivating self-awareness. It's not enough to simply identify and eliminate threats. You must also understand your own vulnerabilities. What are your weaknesses? What are your triggers? What are the things that make you most susceptible to manipulation? Once you understand your vulnerabilities, you can take steps to protect yourself. This may involve avoiding certain situations, developing coping mechanisms, or seeking support from others. The goal is to create a mental environment that is conducive